How should someone conduct themselves during the interview? I'm sure many people have tried various things, try to win you over with charm and jokes, and others may just be totally silent and stoic.
Yeah, we always tell them, don't be nervous. How can they not be nervous? You know, this is not an audition, but of course it is an audition. We're trying to get a sense of what, how effective a member of a community this person can be, because film is a community, as we said before, and also this is a community. Our program is a community, and indeed we have all kinds of superstar writers come. Right now, as we're sitting here, we have an alumnus, Dustin Lance Black, who won the Oscar for Milk a few years ago, and he's teaching a class here right now. Why do I mention that? Because we're talking about the nervousness, the auditioning. We will tell them you know, it's not an audition, but it really is. We're trying to get a sense of how well they will be able to collaborate, both with the point I mentioned, the reason I mentioned Lance, his name is Dustin Lance Black, but his pals call him Lance, is that we will tell the students, like the students who are in his class now, he's not the important guy to meet. The important people to meet are the people around the table, as he once was. So in other words, it's like my classmates at USC. There was some very fancy faculty that came and took guest shots, but it was the people around the table. I mean, I was sitting around the table with George Lucas and John Milius and Walter Murch and Randall Kleiser and Bob Zemeckis and Caleb Deschanel, the cinematographer, and on and on and on and on, names that you know and names that you don't know. But it's these people that you're making your relationships with whom you will have social relationships with, and also professional relationships with down the line. So forget exactly what the question was, but it had to do with how to conduct yourself in the interview. We're looking for people who again seem likely to be able to collaborate and cooperate and be a good member of our own screenwriting community here, because just as film is a community, as I said before, so also is our little program. We could expand massively. We have so many applications from qualified writers, but we've deliberately not done that. We think this is the right size. We don't want it to become a tuition mill. It's just the right. We admit about 25 to 30 a year. It's a 2-year program. About half the people stay a third year. So at any given time, there are about 70 people in the program altogether. And there are 65 or 75 people in the program at any given time. But again, each of the classes are just 8 writers. So we want those people to be, generous contributors to those discussions and to support each other around the table. So we don't really have preset questions or anything like that. We're just kind of having a chat with the people. We don't mind if they reveal a conversancy with theater. They want to know who. I like to think they've seen a play or 2 or more by Tennessee Williams. He was actually a guest speaker here in my early days. Imagine Williams in a dramatic writing program. I mean, it's like being in seminary and God comes in to do a question and answer, and on Thursday at 2 o'clock, the Lord will be doing a Q&A in the Redwood Room or what, something like that. We had Billy Wilder as a guest imagine Billy Wilder guesting in a film writing class. I had Neil Simon several times come in. He just lives across the street here. Beautiful thing about being in LA. He came in to talk about comedy writing. I mean, Neil Simon talking to writers about comedy. I want to cry because it is so amazing what happens here. The resources that are available and all of that. But the question again was,
how should someone conduct themselves? Should they?
Right.
It's just a conversation, so you're just judging how they get along in a group, how they interact socially.
It's funny because the first thing they were wondering about is, should they put on a tie, and a jacket, or come more casual? How casual is too casual, and so on. And the question, should I put on a tie? The answer is, I don't know. I really don't know. It's possible maybe to come too formal, and I think it's possible to come a little too laid back and a little too familiar. You know, I'd want to err, if I were a student coming for an interview for this program, I might not put on a tie. I probably wouldn't put on a tie. But I mean, I go on TV and on all of these political talk shows, and I don't wear a tie. Yeah, I wear a jacket, and I look nice, my wife tells me, which is not an easy compliment to get from my bride. But again, these are all questions we just don't know exactly what the answer is. We're open to surprises. And I think that the biggest mistake that you can probably make is have a clear agenda. For the meeting, you know, you're coming in to meet with us and you want to achieve this, and this. I don't think so. I think you just want to come in and meet with the people and hear what they have to say and answer any questions that they have and so on. There's no real smart way to prepare for it. And I think you could even hurt yourself by over-preparing for it.
Do you think there's a certain amount of flow?
Oh, without question, it's all about flow, I think. How does the conversation flow? It's heartbreaking for us because most of the interviews go quite well, but it still doesn't mean that you're going to be admitted. The likelihood is that you won't be admitted, just as a numbers consideration. There are still more than twice as many people seeking the slots than there are slots, and therefore the likelihood, not just the possibility, but the probability is that you will not be admitted. And lots of hearts get broken. Lots of people think they're good enough for the program, they're going to admit, and they are good enough for the program. They're not admitted not because they're not good enough for the program, but because of these numbers issues that I was mentioning.